Coming up on DITV, net neutrality, we break down the issue that could affect everyone who uses the internet.
And later, we take a look at a new interactive mural that showcases Iowa City.
We have updates on some Hawkeye football award winners.
And we went to campus to see Iowa students' favorite sporting traditions.
We are seeing great temperatures in our future. Find out more on weather.
All that and more is coming up.
DITV starts now.
Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to this live Tuesday edition of DITV. I'm Christopher Cervantes.
And I'm Becca Scadden. There's been an ongoing discussion regarding whether net neutrality rules should be rolled back.
We have our own Cole Johnson standing by in the studio to help explain the fight for net neutrality and why its outcome could affect every internet user.
Thanks, Becca and Noah. At this point, it seems like everyone is talking about net neutrality and possible changes we may be seeing. Net neutrality is the idea that everything on the internet should be treated equally by internet service providers. That means that providers can choose to speed up or slow down the speed of specific content. Supporters say that this policy helps guarantee free speech on the internet. Now, the Federal Communications Commission has announced they will vote to end net neutrality rules next month. The effort is being led by Chairman Ajit Pai, who says current policies are giving the government too much power. Instead of creating strict policies, the FCC will allow companies to make their own rules as long as they are transparent with their policies. Since the announcement, a heated debate has sparked on social media. Many worry that a rollback from the FCC will not provide enough protection for consumers. We will keep you updated as the story develops. Becca and Noah, back to you.
Thanks, Cole. In other world news, a recent volcano eruption in Indonesia is currently affecting millions of people.
Our very own Susanna Klooster is standing by in the weather studio to give us the latest. Susanna?
Are stranded after a volcanic eruption has caused thousands of people to evacuate the area. Mount Agung, as seen before it erupted behind me, is the highest point in Bali and last erupted in 1963. The volcano began erupting on Saturday and flights were canceled on Monday due to the smoke and ash in the sky, making it difficult for pilots to see. The airport is expected to be closed until Wednesday morning. A level 4 alert was issued by the National Agency for Disaster Management, which means that another eruption is likely to happen and could be larger and more dangerous. Due to high rainfall, this has also created a series of floodings, including both volcanic mud flows and lava floods. That's all I have for you now, and I'll be back later in the show to give you more of your latest weather. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Susanna. Yesterday, the Iowa Department of Corrections released a statement after a current inmate died at the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics. 30-year-old inmate Adam Knowles died around noon yesterday after an unforeseen medical emergency. Knowles' body was later released to the Johnson County Medical Examiner to determine the cause of death. Knowles began his 5-year sentence earlier this year after he was arrested for second-degree theft. Stick with DITV News as this story further develops.
Former Bachelor star Chris Soules appeared in court yesterday to begin discussions about dismissing charges against him after he left the scene of a fatal accident in April. It is against Iowa law to leave the scene of an accident, but his attorneys argue that he did everything he was supposed to do by staying on the scene until he helped arrive for the victim. However, prosecutors are claiming Soules didn't stay on the scene long enough to talk with law enforcement. A decision whether the charges will be dropped is expected to be announced later today.
Today, the Iowa City School Board is expected to vote on a proposal to speed up the process on current projects around the district. Right now, the Iowa City School District is investing in multiple projects to improve several of the schools in the district. Board members are expecting the proposal to be approved, as speeding up the construction schedule could save taxpayers over $4 million. Besides the cost savings, board members are also stressing that these projects will help capacity levels at multiple schools. If approved, all projects would be completed by 2021. And if you're traveling over on the south side of campus, you may have to take a detour. Yesterday began the week-long road closure at the corner of Madison and Burlington Street. The area near Come and Go and the CRWC will be closed until at least this Friday due to sewer repair. This closure will cause some delays in rerouting for CAMBus and other city buses. For more information on the temporary routes, visit CAMBus's website or check out the Bongo app.
Over on the west side of campus, crews began construction on the new North End Zone project at Kinnick Stadium. Construction is expected to affect street, pedestrian walkways, and campus routes. A large portion of Evenski Drive will also be closed so that crews can safely demolish the end zone. Pedestrians wishing to get through will have to cross through the hospital skywalk above the construction area. Campus will also be rerouted, entering the West Transportation Center from Melrose Avenue instead of Evanchevsky Drive. These closures will be in effect until the first phase of the project is complete, which is expected to be right on time for the 2018 football season. Becca, this sounds very, very chaotic.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, it started yesterday, and I've already had my fair share of problems getting to campus.
Well, here's hoping that the weather this week is not as chaotic as this construction schedule.
Let's toss it over to Susanna in the weather studio with more. Susanna?
Thanks, guys. And you may be wondering where our winter weather is this week with these great temperatures we are seeing. And that weather just so happens to be in the United Kingdom, as the jet stream has changed its path, bringing with it Arctic temperatures that are 5 degrees Celsius below average for that region. The United Kingdom is expecting snow, ice, high winds, and extreme cold conditions. Hearing all that makes me thankful for the weather we are seeing here in Iowa City this week. Today, the high will reach a comfortable 57 degrees with some clouds, and Wednesday we will see plenty of sunshine and a high of 48 degrees. Now let's take a look at the rest of this week's forecast. Our highs are going to stay in the range of the high 40s to the mid and upper 50s, with clouds passing in and out of our skies the rest of our week. Saturday will be the warmest day of the week, with a high reaching 55 degrees, and on Monday we'll have a 50% chance of showers to start off next week. Enjoy this weather this Tuesday, and back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Susanna. Earlier this semester, the City of Iowa City commissioned an interactive mural to be built in the Iowa City Rec Center, and now it's on display for all to see. I visited the Rec Center recently to get a closer look. This mural you see before you is the culmination of work done by several UI faculty and student body members from various fields of study.
The title of this work is Exploring Iowa's Renewable Energy, and it's collaborative work.
It utilizes the ideals of STEAM: science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. The large landscape is in fact made up of several miniaturized snapshots of Iowa's countryside, and there are various set pieces that are interactive for all ages. Despite the visual appeal, the display is more than just eye candy. It in fact has a message to tell.
In a real simple sense, what this piece does is it looks at the diverse array of energy generating techniques and potentials on the landscape, and tries to make that available to children and adults through an artistic project.
With substantial funding by the city and large appeal amongst the age brackets, the message looks like it'll be received quite well. Reporting from the Iowa City Rec Center, this is Christopher Cervantes, DITV News.
Yesterday, Iowa State Athletics announced that head football coach Matt Campbell has signed a 6-year contract extension worth over $20 million. This deal comes after Campbell led the Cyclones to a 7-5 season and secured the team a bowl game, their first since 2012. Campbell will now earn over $3 million a year, $2 million behind our own Kirk Ferentz, who's the state of Iowa's highest paid employee, making over $5 million a year for the duration of his contract, lasting until 2026. And Chris, Iowa State has had a pretty impressive football season this year, I have to say.
Well, you can say that, but I prefer to keep a tight focus on Hawkeye athletics. Thank you very much.
And if you're watching Hawkeye athletics, they're actually having some pretty impressive seasons this year, too.
Let's toss it over to Delaney and Taylor in the sports studio.
Yeah, guys, the Iowa women's basketball team is off to quite the start this season.
Yeah, the team is currently sitting at 7-0.
And after an undefeated weekend in Florida, the women's basketball team is preparing for Florida State to come into Carver Hawkeye Arena this Wednesday night.
I mean, we had a really great run at the tournament. We're really ready to go. I mean, we just, came back. We had an off day yesterday, and so we're really getting ready to go. We just had our scout, so we don't know too much right now. We're just kind of getting into it, and so we're really excited, though, to get going on Wednesday.
We know that they're a great defensive team, so just, being patient on offense, running our offense.
We just got to make sure we're crashing and boxing out every single possession. We do that every day in practice, so we're just making sure that we continue focusing on that and make it something that we do consistently. They are a great rebounding team, just like the rebounding teams that we faced in Florida. We knew that that's something that we had to focus on is boxing out, and that's, again, going to be one of our priorities this time.
Our team is feeling really good about the way they're playing. And they're not just putting a whole lot of pressure on themselves. They're having fun. They've got great chemistry. Even when things, get a little tighter, they've been able to handle it, and just they're enjoying the experience.
Not really intimidated at all by it. We're just more excited than anything. We love when we have big games, big challenges, especially in Carver. We can play in front of our fans, and it's a really exciting night. We're really pumped for it.
Well, guys, if you are looking for a way to fill your Wednesday, be sure to come out to Carver Hawkeye Arena at 7 p.m. for the undefeated Hawks blackout game against the Seminoles.
Well, the football team had a big weekend up in Lincoln as Iowa easily cruised past Nebraska 56-14. And members of the team are receiving recognition for that performance and more.
Senior running back Offensive Player of the Week following his 3 touchdowns and 150-yard performance against the Huskers. However, Wadley accolades don't stop there. Wadley, along with senior offensive lineman Sean Welsh, accepted their invitations to the Reese's Senior Bowl. That game will take place January 27th in Mobile, Alabama.
And yesterday, the Touchdown Club of Columbus announced that senior linebacker Josie Jewell received the Jack Lambert Award for the best linebacker in all of college football. Jewell ranks 3rd nationally and leads the Big Ten with 125 tackles. Jewell is also a finalist for the Bronco Nagurski Award and is a semifinalist for the Lot Impact Trophy. And I'll have to be honest with you, Delaney, in my opinion, Jewell got snubbed by the Butkus Award, which also goes to the best linebacker in the country.
Yeah, Taylor, myself and the rest of the Hawkeye Nation are going to have to agree with you on that one.
Well, on another note, it seems like all of us have a story about one of our sports teams or how we got into watching sports. Delaney, if you know me at all, you know that I'm obsessed with my Chicago teams, the Cubs, Bears, Bulls. I've loved them since I was a kid.
And I'm a big Chicago sports fan as well, Taylor, but I'd have to say watching high school basketball with my dad coaching on the sidelines will always be my favorite sports tradition.
Well, those may be some of our traditions, but DITV's Jacob Sinstad and Justin Elsner went to campus and asked students about their favorite sporting traditions.
For many sports fans all over the country, they have traditions of how they started watching sports, and they still follow those to this day.
For Jacob and I, it's watching Sunday football with our fathers. Let's see what people in Iowa City do.
Is there a team that you have stayed loyal to your whole life through thick and thin?
The Boston Red Sox.
Now, Boston Red Sox are a pretty good team, but has it been tough in a couple years that you remember?
Yeah, I remember the year we won the World Series in 2013. It was the year before we finished in last place.
Do you have any sports traditions that you've held your whole entire life?
Well, I grew up in Iowa City, so I've been going to football and basketball games since I was a kid, and I went to the first game in Carver, men's basketball game in Carver Hawkeye Arena, which was on my 5th birthday.
Is there a sports team that you've been with your whole life, tried and true, never given up on?
The Chicago Bears, unfortunately.
What are some sports traditions you've held throughout your life?
I've always watched football every Sunday with my dad and my family. Every Thanksgiving, we always watch football, and that's a pretty big tradition.
Well, Justin, it's nice to see Iowa City patrons like to hold traditions just like you and I do.
Yep. From outside the library, I'm Justin Elsner.
And I'm Jacob Senstead, Daily Iowan, TV Sports.
Well, it's definitely fun to hear from people and hear their different traditions they each had.
Yeah, and to that Bears fan, I feel for you, man. That's it from us here in the sports studio, but be sure to tune back in tomorrow for updates from Iowa wrestling media availability.
And for a closer look at one Hawkeye tailgate making a difference for the patients in the Stead Family Children's Hospital. Guys, back to you at the desk.
And that'll do it for this edition of DITV. Stay up to date on all the news by checking us out on dailyiowan.com by picking up a copy of the Daily Iowan.
Also, be sure to subscribe to the Daily Iowan's new Discover Snapchat page. From all of us here at DITV, I'm Christopher Cervantes.
And I'm Becca Scadden. Thanks for watching and have a great day, Iowa City.